I'll now go to Mr. Balderson for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for having this hearing today. And thank all of you from the panel for being here today. Mr. McCown, I do have to say I have 2 Red Hawks in my office. Glad to see someone from Miami, University of Ohio here, so thank you for being here. Mr. Rice, thank you for being here today. You mentioned that over the past few years, EQT has averaged nearly $1 billion in payments to Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania landowners. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. If the ban on LNG exports remains in place, how will that impact the benefits of those communities are seen from natural gas production?
It would mean a reduction in those royalty payments, specifically because we would not have the need to produce more to fill the export demand.
Thank you. Mr. Cormier, thank you for being here, sir. Would you like to add anything on how this ban would impact communities in Louisiana?
It impacts business decisions, whether from the LNG companies, but everyone else under that. Again, I want to reemphasize, business decisions are made by people planning with certain degrees of expectation. Lastly, what I would like to do, I would invite the whole committee to Lake Charles, Louisiana, Cameron Parish, so you can see exactly the impact, the positive impact, the things that are going on in our community as we build from the disasters that we've dealt with, along with how this industry is very important in making us become stronger, because we're strong people and we like working and making things happen and moving forward.
Thank you. I've seen the impacts of the shale revolution firsthand. It's been an absolute game changer in Appalachia, Ohio. Mr. Rice, thank you. I'm well aware of what you have done in southeastern and eastern Ohio. And just recently, the Muskingum Watershed Conservancy District, which covers most of my congressional district, released a report showing revenues from Utica shale leases have raised the region's economy by nearly $1 billion. When I look at the lifeline that natural gas has given my district and the Appalachia, Ohio, it makes the Biden administration's decision even more puzzling. Mr. Rice and Mr. McCown, I'll go with Mr. Rice first. I understand that a new major Russian LNG export facility is scheduled to come online this year at the same time. Iran is hoping to complete a new LNG export facility next year. Is that correct, Mr. Rice?
There are multiple LNG facilities across the entire world that the United States is competing with.
Okay. Mr. McCown, in 2022, 64% of the U.S. LNG exports went to Europe. And last year, only 10% of Europe's natural gas needs were met by domestic productions. I apologize, this is from Mr. Rice. Mr. Rice, despite increased U.S. LNG exports to Europe in recent years, is Europe still burning Russian LNG and Russian natural gas delivered by pipelines?
Europe is still consuming Russian energy.
Did you want to add anything to that, Mr. McCown?
No, that's completely accurate. So Russia is still getting money out of Europe to conduct its war activities in Ukraine.
Thank you. Do either of you think, Mr. Rice and Mr. McCown, do either of you think it's America's best interest for Europe to continue relying on Russia to meet its energy needs? Mr. McCown, I think you just answered it, but is that correct?
No, of course it's not.
Thank you. Mr. Rice?
I would say that ultimately it's up to Europe to determine where they need to get their energy from, but as we've seen, they prefer American resources, and America has the ability, the resource to replace Russian energy on the world market when we're talking about natural gas.
Okay, I'll just go with one more question, Mr. Rice. You mentioned that EQT has cut methane intensity by roughly 70% since 2019. Can you discuss specifically, we talked a little bit about it from the last question, what steps your company has taken to reduce methane emissions and enhance operational efficiencies?
Sure, I'll be very brief. Number one, massive operational efficiencies from being able to drill faster. That has happened across the entire industry. You see, we used to run 2,000 rigs. Now we're having record productions with just 600 rigs. Second thing is pinpointing, is electrifying the oil field, replacing diesel equipment with natural gas equipment. Third thing is replacing pneumatic devices for natural gas is the biggest source of equipment. For methane emissions, we've pulled all 9,000 of those out in less than 18 months. for a cost of less than $10 per ton. It's important to understand that these opportunities that we're doing at EQT to lower our methane emissions are available for other natural gas operators, and we are working open source with operators to showcase to the world that methane emissions will be knocked out of the park.
Thank you for what you've been doing, and thank you, everybody, for being here. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.